Today, we are covering the new Royal level skill, Death, Doom, Requiem, which lets you summon out 2 of your level 7 monsters for free. The downside is that they are put in defense mode, and cannot change their battle position. Additionally, the skill will prevent you from attacking directly with a heavy metal that has gotten the boost. So, let's get into the deck. Of course, we are running all 9 copies of the Royal level boss monsters. This is because, in order to do the combo, you actually need to draw all 3 of them. You use the skill to put in Heavy Metal and Invasion, and you tribute them off for a Doom Metal, which then pops the entire board, and inflicts a ton of damage. In order to help get our boss monsters' effects off consistently, we are also using 3 copies of Buyer and 3 copies of Phaser to increase the level. And of course, consistency is key in a deck like this. So we are running 3 Kobolds. 3 Essel becomes even better when we have a 3rd boss monster, as there are now 9 targets to high roll, almost a third of the deck. We also have the new card, Rogue of Archfiend, which allows us to swing in with no fear of Widespread Ruin. This card is much better than the field spell, as it is also able to serve as tribute fodder, or declare an attack. Finally, for monsters, apart from our legend, we have the Palace Gargoyle, and this is probably the weakest slot in the deck. It is mostly here, so it is another way to trigger a heavy metal if you don't draw multiple boss monsters to use with the skill. For our spell trap lineup, we have Monster Reincarnation, as our deck, like a maximum deck, is relying on a 3-card combo. Widespread Ruin is Widespread Ruin, and then the Guard is here as a tech for the Mirror and Hell Tuning Invasion. These Royal level decks are probably pretty popular in higher ranks, and they have the means to consistently blow up your board. Having a copy of the Guard will also put back your boss monsters, making it more likely to draw them on future turns. This is the one deck in the game where you want to see as many high-level monsters as possible, and it's almost impossible to actually brick. But this deck does have some downsides. Unlike Hell Tuning Invasion, we do not switch monsters to attack, and my current list has no ways to actually get over a set 3 board. I have considered switching the Palace Gargoyle for Piercing Samurai, just to have a little bit of reach into defensive boards. Additionally, you could consider additional copies of the Guard. Notably, we are not on any copies of Ghost Cyclone, and that is because the only card worth destroying is Widespread Ruin, most of the time, and Rogue of Archfiend fills the same niche. Apart from Piercing Samurai, there are a few other cards you could consider. For example, Palace Gargoyle could be removed alongside a couple of other cards to make room for a King's Majesty engine, or a Currybot engine. You don't really need the Currybots in my opinion, as the skill is going to bring out your tribute monsters, and then you're tributing them off anyway. And then if you want to summon them normally, you probably need to be using cards like Shadow Buyer anyway. So the Currybot doesn't provide a ton of advantage. If you only have 1 boss monster, you're going to use your low level monsters to summon it. If you have multiple boss monsters, you're going to summon them with the skill. Royal Level's Rocker can bring back your high level monsters, but if you're trying to destroy the board with Doom Metal, not being able to attack directly is a huge downside. In the level 4 slot, I've already mentioned Piercing Samurai, but there's also Light Sorcerer of Sanctity, another card we have chosen not to run. Again, our deck is aiming to clear the board of all the face-up monsters they have, and that makes the debuff not very valuable. If you can't fit multiple copies of Babysitter Goat, but find a card you don't want in the list, feel free to run extra copies of the Guard. It should be good in what should be one of the most relevant matchups in the game. I say that now, but by the time this video is published, who knows? Maybe a ban list will have been announced. That means the Rebels are not as popular. I don't think any of the other trap cards in the game are that useful. So for spell cards, you could consider the Stop Defense, which is going to be better than Pierce, as destroying monsters comes with upside. Attack position monsters can be absorbed by a heavy metal, or cause the opponent to take some damage with a Doom Metal. The deck is pretty straightforward, so that should be everything to discuss. Let's get into some games. We open a little bit awkward, but we do get both of our legend cards. So I think we just set, and then we'll summon the invasion for extra. Well, hold on, we're playing against a Roa, and we don't really care if we think they are going to clear our board. So if this is the Hell Tuning Invasion deck, then summoning the Invasion doesn't do anything for us. But if it's the other Doom Metal player, I guess this is also still bad to summon an Invasion out. So we are just keeping it in hand. Alright, they summon a Curry Bot. And then Genie's Fire Breath. We are pretty likely to brick then. And they even find the Wisebed Ruin. Alright, and here comes a Heavy Metal. But which one will they attack with? Alright, and they do actually choose to get over our defense mode monster. Alright, we find a Phaser. Does that help us? Maybe. We can Essel and try to mill. And we find another Doom Metal. Interesting. I think that does work. Death Doom Requiem. Special summon you. Select another card. No. Normal summon Phaser. Activate effect. And revive Doom Metal. Unfortunately, it's forced into defense mode, but that doesn't matter since Doom Metal is able to be summoned number 2. And we're gonna go ahead and clear that board. I could swing with the Essel, but we know they're on Babysitter Goats, so I'm not gonna risk it. Let's just go with this. And it is an opposing Essel. We get in for 1,000 for sequencing correctly. Alright, we see them activating their own Death Doom Requiem and another Genie's Fire Breath. My Wisebed Ruin has been returned to hand twice. And they do it again. But I mean, that's not that scary. I think they failed to do anything interesting. With all of those spell trap removals. We do have a Rogue of Archfiend in the grave, which is nice. More importantly, are we able to kind of sack our way to a win? If we were to reincarnate that, we would have 3 low levels. We'd go 1, 2, summon the Heavy Metal, pop, and give it immunity. That seems pretty strong. So let's summon you. And then distribute a level 5 or higher monster for Heavy Metal. Absorb their attack and destroy them. Monster Reincarnation, send you. Add back. They could have a guard face down though. And they might. It's Majesty. So they do have a negate. So they managed to survive the turn. Alright, Shadowbuyer. That is going to be able to become a level 5 monster for their own Heavy Metal. Which would mean we would now be losing the game if we didn't have our Wisebed Ruin to protect us. Assuming they do bring it in. And of course, it is the one and only Heavy Metal. Fortunately for us, they do not have a Rogue of whatever to protect it from the widespread. What do we want to bring in? I think we are just trying to kind of set things up. Shadowbuyer is strong here. But they don't have any face-up monsters, so we can't use the effect. As we go like this, and we just set one of these. And we will tribute summon Heavy Metal and try to clear the board. Alright, so my opponent is also getting down to just 7 cards left in deck. So we're gonna have to see what they bring out. Death Doom Requiem can unbrick them. We do see they haven't played that many boss monsters. Only 2 Heavy Metals are in the graveyard. Compared to us with a bunch of them. And there are 2 monsters. They could be bringing in their own secondary. Oh, it's actually an invasion play. But that isn't able to clear my monster. until they Talismanic Seal Ray. And they get me with it. That's also going to put back 4 monsters into the deck, and with only 11 cards, adding 4 boss monsters almost guarantees they'll be able to do it next turn, which is a little bit scary. Let's see what we can come up with. We get a Phaser, but no other level 7 or higher monsters. Apart from the lone Doom Metal, which I think is going to be busy attacking. So this time, we definitely do want to Shadow Buyer. And we are also putting a card back into our deck. I'm going to pick another Doom Metal. And then we summon. Summon. Bring in the Doom Metal. And remember, even if they clear our board, we do have a guard to save us, which is nice. So we want to get in for the damage that we can. There's a chance this is a Babysitter Goat, which would be unfortunate, as I could really use the extra damage. Unfortunately, we are unable to deal the 1200. Let's see what they go for. Heavy Metal, and then presumably Invasion as well. They actually choose Invasion rather than a Doom Metal. Which means, how do they clear my own Doom Metal? Do they have another Talismanic Seal Ray? Not what I was expecting. And then a Heavy Metal to try to end the game with a 5,000 attack point swing. Pretty clever sequence. Unfortunately for them, it is not going to work. Unless that last card is something good. But no, it is time to battle. And they choose not to attack. Are they trying to deck me out? Man. Again, we only get 1 boss monster. And none of them are even able to clear this Heavy Metal. So, I mean, I guess we just set and pass. And we try to see what happens next turn. We also have not seen their Widespread Ruin, which is an issue since I'm pretty sure we've already used all 3 of our rogues. 1, 2, 3. So they definitely have a live Widespread Ruin on us. However, they only have a 1 card left in the deck. What is their plan? To not deck out. They might be playing too many cards here. They can't use a Talismanic Seal Ray, as we have nothing in attack mode. I think this might be it. We draw 3, and then we end turn. Alright, we are up first. And that's an interesting hand. I think we just want to set a couple cards and maybe even summon out one of these Heavy Metals. We already have plenty of level 8s. We want to find an Invasion or a Phaser. So getting one of the Heavy Metals into the graveyard is not a bad thing. And if they are on Hell Tuning Invasion, instead of the other skill, maybe being able to maybe being switched to attack mode isn't that bad. Though it does mean since our other monster is level 4, we would be in a bit of danger anyway. Alright, they're just setting cards. I don't think guard is worth using here. Oh, we don't even have the monster, so we couldn't use it anyway. Quite interesting. Wait, they had an Essel. But they weren't able to special summon anything. That is unfortunate for them. I think we definitely Death Doom Requiem. We do an Invasion, so we're summoning both. Level 8, and level 7. Then we just wipe this board and inflict some extra damage on the way. Activate effect, and then Archfiend Soldier can come in as well. We don't have the, we don't really have a reason to use phaser here. So let's enter battle. And this time, I think we are getting hit by a widespread. No, they let this through. So it might be just a copy of the guard to send some monsters back into the deck. Or maybe it is a really bad card. I don't know why they wouldn't have activated it that time. 600 means if I resolve another Doom Metal, the game just ends immediately. Or they can't summon any bosses. Alright, they are setting. Here comes Royal Rebels Phaser. And it is indeed Hell Tuning Invasion. Unfortunately, if they are going for a heavy metal, our phaser will block it. But if it is an invasion, our guard will block it. So, let's go ahead and activate guard. And we will return one copy of each boss monster into the deck. Alright, we find an invasion. And a monster reincarnation. Does that help us? What would monster reincarnation do for us? We could get a heavy metal, but we wouldn't be able to use the effect. We don't have anything that's able to boost its level. We'd get a phaser to revive the heavy metal, but again, that doesn't really do anything. Wait, okay, what if we use monster reincarnation? And then activate the skill to special summon the invasion. We would at least be able to clear, but then we wouldn't be able to actually attack. Which is a little bit awkward too. Maybe we just summon the Essel and see what we mill. Another phaser and a shadow buyer. I mean, maybe we just try to stall things out for one turn. That seems okay with me. I mean, like I said, we could clear the invasion, but I'd rather keep the monster reincarnation around for another turn. As, if we're able to draw into a Doom Metal, I'd want to be able to recover the heavy metal and then have all three. So I did have an option to end on a heavy metal and destroy this, but it didn't seem correct to me. Of course, we can lose the game here. If they are able to make a play that makes them immune to my Widespread Ruin, I might take too much damage. This doesn't look like a crazy start, though. Heavy metal coming in. They absorb. And right now, that is 6,000. That is exactly lethal. So if the final card is actually the new thing, we'd be in danger. But they end here. Which means Widespread Ruin is going to put in some work. All we need to do is draw Doom Metal, and we win. We'll inflict 700 damage. Unfortunately, we don't find it. So we can actually also Essel here. As it would give us a chance to mill 2 more cards and try to find it. And that is more than we would get off of the Kobold. So if we Essel mill Doom Metal, we could monster reincarnation and bring it back and then win. So I think it's worth trying. We mill a heavy metal and an invasion. Not quite what I was looking to see. What if I Kobold and then get back a phaser? I could Kobold, summon the invasion, I can set invasion, summon heavy metal, and still attack with the low levels. Yes, that is correct. Okay, we're going for invasion. Death, Doom, Requiem. Set this. We don't choose another card. Then we heavy metal. And try to swing in with the 2 kobolds. Alright, let's see what they got. It is a guard. They just simply didn't choose to use it earlier. Maybe they have another one. And welcome, Reaper. How are you doing today? Alright, unfortunately, they have 2 guards. Don't think there was anything I could have done about that. Redfire says Field Spell is good in playtesting. 3 copies? That is way too many. Unless you don't own the new monster. That does the same thing. Pushra says, what if we put in Dragius, the Unketo, Fashion of Faith, the new zombie engine, and an Aqua engine? So they're actually... Okay, after this game, I'm gonna go build a little deck. That I think is worth talking about. Okay, also heavy metal. We want to use Monster Reincarnation this time. And we're probably going to try to get back another heavy metal to pop. Oh, but I could also Essel again. But if I Essel, I mill the monster, but then I don't actually have 2 level 7s. So that doesn't do anything. First, let's Kobold. See what we draw. Another Rogue of Archfiend. Monster Reincarnation. Send Essel. Add back heavy metal. Summon the heavy metal and absorb their own heavy metal. And this time, we haven't even used the skill. So we have 3 potential attacks. So we summon a Rogue of Archfiend and another Rogue of Archfiend. And with only 2 trap cards, this should be game. They have a Majesty. Swing in with the heavy metal. And they have the Widespread Ruin, hanging on until the very end.